Hola everyone, Tom here, aka Nostradamus. It is January 10th, 2021. I don't even know what to start off with. The big news of the weekend is, what is the big news? Trump getting banned from everything, Twitter down 4%, NIO day, Bitcoin. I guess it depends on what you're invested in. For me, I definitely have some thoughts on NIO day. I definitely have some thoughts on this Bitcoin. We will definitely cover and wrap that up. Stock market, the futures market is going to open in roughly 3 minutes. I'm predicting a NASDAQ in the green. Gold, I'm kind of curious to see what happens to gold. Let's flip over to the screen and see what we are looking at. Here we are. Here's Tastyworks, my preferred trading platform. I use it all the time. I want to quickly cover some things I did do on Friday. I did add to my Mara position, which could get really interesting with this move in Bitcoin. I added to my Mara and my Riot position. I thought I did both in both, but I only did, I did like 400 shares of Mara. Let's see if that's right. Roughly 400 shares of Mara, putting my total to 1,200. It's no secret that I'm extremely bullish Bitcoin, and I'm using Mara as a proxy right now, even though Tastyworks will be coming online with an coin exchange this week. But I did also add, I sold 5 covered calls against that, and that turns out to be like it might have been an excellent move. I did get $1,455 in credit for that. These were basically weekly options. These now expire in 5 days. And with the downward move in Bitcoin, it looks like that's going to pay off. Mara closed in the after hours roughly $2.50, about $2.50 higher. So it'll be curious to see what's going to happen with Bitcoin movement. I mean, it's already had a crazy flush today. It's already had a crazy rebound. I have some levels that I'm curious and interested in buying more. I was seriously considering buying more today during the dip, but I didn't. A level that I would be extremely bullish and loading the truck, backing up the truck, loading the boat, whatever expression you want to use, would be anywhere like 30 to 32,000. If it hits those levels, I would really start like possibly even selling off other positions to load the boat in that. I've been doing a lot of thinking on Bitcoin. There's no doubt in my mind it's the future. The more and more I think about it from so many different angles, but it's pretty deep stuff. I do think Bitcoin and Ethereum and blockchain not only is it going to disrupt finance, it's going to disrupt humanity as we know it. And it's going to be a huge driving force and catalyst, hopefully propelling us into the future as a better society and civilization. But it also has the potential to take us down, in my opinion. I know it's some crazy tinfoil hat stuff, but that's kind of, the more and more I think about it, that's kind of how I look at it. I also added to my Riot position. I brought my share total up to 1,000. So I think only about 100 more shares. I thought I'd sold some covered calls over there. I didn't. I wish I had. I will probably be adding heavy to both covered calls in Riot and Mara, doing some weeklies, just trying to hedge my bet with all the volatility, just hedge my positions and capture some nice theta decay and some, look at this, 248% IV rank. It is borderline criminal not to sell covered calls against your Riot and Mara positions, and you're just flat out greed if you have this kind of weight on in Mara and Riot and not to put on some covered calls. So I'll be looking very curious. I will definitely be looking at these positions with a fine-tooth comb tomorrow morning at market open. All right, let's take a look. The market has opened. I am a bit surprised. The NASDAQ is actually down about 14 points. I'm kind of curious to see where this shakes out. Gold has made a nice little rebound off its sell-off from last week. I was a bit surprised in the move of gold. There's a lot of speculation surrounding gold with, obviously you got all your, plenty of people out there that are very bullish gold. I myself am bullish gold, even though I'm way more extremely bullish Bitcoin, Ethereum. A lot of people are speculating gold's going to go down because a lot of people are getting out of gold to go into Bitcoin. I'm not so sure about that. I think they're both excellent hedges for inflation and a good way to invest your money. So I'm not surprised to see gold back up 14 points. I'm not going to get back into a position right now in gold, though I am looking to maybe go long a mini NASDAQ future. It's done very well for me. Even though if you take a look at my deltas in this account are already 1100 to the long side. So piling on a mini NASDAQ long. Let's not do the big one, Tom. I'm going to put one on just because I've already missed 8 points. That's all right. It doesn't matter because it could easily flush 50. What do you mean it's not approved? Let's get this on the account that is approved. What do you think about that, Tasty Works? Huh? Take that. All right, we're filled. I just went long a mini NASDAQ. Probably cost myself 10 points talking about it. That's fine. We all know the NASDAQ's going to the moon. We all know Biden is going to announce a $3 trillion stimulus this week, and there's nothing to it but to do it. All right, so I've covered what I did in Mara and Riot at the end of the, you know what else I did in my stock account? We've definitely got to cover this. Is I put a covered call in Tesla. I normally don't like doing this. All right, I have a couple rules when it comes to investing. Don't get married to a stock and don't get married to a stock. But I've gotten married to Tesla. I think I've said a few times that this is the trade of the decade. I've already made a ton of money off Tesla, but there's got to be a level that Tesla hits, like in the short term, that if it hits that, like how do you not sell it? So Tesla going to the moon could hit $1,000 this week, just the way, especially with the $3 trillion, $2,000 checks. Who knows what's going to happen this week? But with that kind of action, Tesla could definitely start mooning more. So I put on a covered call on Tesla. I normally don't do this. This is February, 40 days out still to go, but it's the $1,500 call. And I got, what did I get for this? I got a lot. $1,000? Did I really get that much? Yeah, I got $1,000 credit. So what that means is Tesla would have to go to $1,500 a share. And then Tesla could get called away from me. But dude, are you kidding me? That's almost a double on Tesla. That's another $70,000, $60,000. $62,000 in profit in the next 42 days. If I made $62,000 of profit in Tesla in the next 40 days, it would be almost criminal not to take some profits. I guess, I've said numerous times, I think Tesla's going to 2 trillion, 4 trillion, but Tesla at 1.5 trillion in that short of a time span, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want that to happen. I don't want Tesla to go to 1,500 by February 19th. I think that's just way too fast. I think it's almost impossible. And in fact, if we take a look at the covered call that I sold, there's only like a 4%. I don't know why it's a 4% on 1,500 and a 3%. Those numbers are, we'll just say a 3 to 4% chance of that happening. I think when I put the trade on, it was only a 2% chance of happening. Dude, you're going to pay me $1,000 and there's only a 2% chance that we're going to call your shares away. And as an added bonus, we're going to throw $62,000 into your bank account. Again, criminal not to take that. I'm lowering my cost basis in Tesla. I don't want my Tesla shares to get taken away from me. And in fact, I didn't do this in my IRA. I probably should have. If Tesla is up more tomorrow, I might do this in my IRA too. But if I were to get all my Tesla shares taken away from me, I would be sad, even though now I'm looking at like $124,000 profit. If that were to happen, which is highly unlikely. But anything's possible in this crazy ass stock market. There's a lot of things going on in the stock market that don't make sense. Anyway, that's what's going on there. Let's talk about NIO. I want to talk about NIO Day. if you haven't seen, and what I've already shown you, I have about 100 and let's see, what is that? 880, $176,000 in Tesla stock. So I think you know where I sit with my Tesla position. Now, I also have NIO stock, but I only have 100 shares over here in my IRA, and I only have 200 shares in my main account. So that's what, like $15,000 roughly in notional value versus 170,000. Look, dude, it's obvious which one I think is the better, safer, going to be almost a sure thing moneymaker long-term play, and that's Tesla. And so anyone seeing this video that gets pissed off because I might be looked at as talking negative about NIO, hey man, whatever, dude. But I am bullish NIO. I think it's a long-term good play. I think it has long-term crazy good potential to 10x plus. It is not going to be the next Tesla. Tesla is a completely different company. They have, look, we got our cars, and that's where it stops, right? They have an electric car. Tesla has an electric car. Right now, that's where it stops. So NIO Day came out, and the big news is they partnered with NVIDIA. Big FD is what I say. Like, who cares? I mean, yeah, NVIDIA is a great company, but to me, that's not big news. And then, you know, all this stuff was like, oh, our NVIDIA chip's is 7 times more powerful than Tesla. When it comes out, I mean, what? I don't even think that card's coming out to next year. And, you know, dude, like, Tesla was partnering with NVIDIA, and they're like, we've got the best engineers on the planet. I'm sorry, they have the second best engineers on the planet because the best engineers are at SpaceX. They built their own better chip than NVIDIA for cheaper, vertically integrated. So if NVIDIA were to come out and say that they have their own vertically integrated chip, that in the future, look, dude, you're playing word games, right? I don't like that. If you have a chip that you could produce right now and put in your cars right now that is 7 times or whatever, how many ever times they said better than Tesla's current chip, hey man, bravo, but that ain't the case, right? And then another thing is they're calling it a supercomputer. Like, I'm sorry, did they change the definition of a supercomputer? Because anything put into a car is not a supercomputer. So we're using those words a little loose. So there we are with that. And then when it comes to full self-driving, dude, like, I don't know what's going on with NIO and full self-driving. 1 second it's Mobileye, and the next second they're bringing back up their own internal, you know, self-driving division, but they're still working with, I don't know, which one is it? Like, there's a lot of, I don't know what's going on, and what kind of full self-driving do they even have? I have no idea. I've heard they have a good full self-driving, but I haven't seen any videos on it. I did a rudimentary search of it earlier today. I didn't really find much. I saw that, you know, they were supposed to release it in October. I don't know, like, and how good is it? I mean, these are some questions I would really want to know the answer to. I am a fan of their battery as a service idea, though it's, you know, it's a coin toss on whether or not that pays off. There's pros and cons to everything, and it's not a proven business model yet, and there's some things that could blow up in their face. I mean, at the end of the day, you're in the battery storage business. They're going to have to store a lot of batteries, right? And they're going to have to deal with that situation, and storing stuff costs money. So who knows, man? I do think the battery as a service has a lot of potential. Is it going to be a winner? I don't know. From the sounds of it, it definitely makes a lot more sense in China because there's a lot of people. Or in the US, you know, I'm sure all of you heard this, but in the US, Tesla considered it, and they went away with it because people didn't want it. I mean, most people in the United States have a garage, and they can just park their car in the garage. They just need to drive it to work, maybe drive it around town a little bit, and then go back home, park it in the garage, and charge it up. Battery as a service definitely doesn't make a lot of sense in the United States. It might in some highly dense cities, I guess, like New York, but then eventually, like, robo-taxis are obviously going to make a lot more sense in places like Chicago and New York versus maybe, you know, smaller metropolitan cities. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. short term, I'm kind of bearish on NIO day. I would not expect a pullback. Excuse me, I'm personally not looking to add to my NIO position. But I'm also not looking to sell it. I've got my 300 shares, 200 my big account, 100 my IRA. I'm setting it, I'm forgetting it. NIO is either gonna go to the moon eventually or it's gonna go to zero. I'm not right now, those two stocks, Tesla, NIO. Hey Ricky, how you doing? The guy riding Hyliion to the ground here. The guy I am not, like I don't know what you mean by that, but I've definitely put out some videos in the beginning. Hyliion, you're gonna tangent me, Ricky. So in the beginning, I was extremely bullish Hyliion. There's a lot of SPAC mania going on, and I got swept up into it. I was started trading all these SPACs. Then I finally pulled my head out of my butt, especially when Hyliion got to like $50. I put out some videos, sell this. I turned out being right. That being said, I like Hyliion. I like their product. I wish them all the success in the world. But they're at a point now that they have to get sales and they have to make money, right? For me, I'm much more, and again, I wish every investor and I wish Hyliion all the best, but I'm not investing in them right now because I don't see the kind of turnaround I would expect in the plays I'm doing right now, like especially Bitcoin and Ethereum. And before that, it was Tesla, and it's still Tesla. Are you kidding me? Like, my God, thank God I got out of Hyliion and got into Tesla in NIO, right? Going broke or making money, riding it to the look, dude, I respect that, man. Like, hopefully it's not all your money. Hopefully it's just a small percentage. Are you in Bitcoin? Are you in Tesla? Like, I mean, are you in Ethereum? Ride the wheels off on that is my opinion. Here we go. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is entertainment purposes only. Dude, Tesla is a monster. I made so much money in Tesla in the last 4 months. It's surreal. I've made so much money in Tesla, NIO, XPong, Bitcoin. It is surreal. Like, I'm still pinching myself and it's still gut wrenching. Speaking of Bitcoin, let's talk about that. Gut wrenching. We had another massive sell off in Bitcoin today. I was look at this. 41,000 all the way down, touched below 35,000. My last big Bitcoin purchase was $5,000, and that's when it was at 23,000. Still gut wrenching, because as far as I'm concerned, those profits are in the bank. I don't want to lose those, right? There's no amount I want Bitcoin to go down. That being said, I am looking to maybe buy some more Bitcoin this week. I would have liked to have bought it at this dip, but it's also possible that the Bitcoin dip's not done. I do see the potential. It's still hitting like 32,000, 30,000 are still on the table. We'll have to see. That being said, if Bitcoin blasts through its all-time high this week, this might seem crazy to you, but if Bitcoin hits 43,000 this week, I may pile on more at 43,000, because that's a very big indicator that it's going to 50,000, and the bull run's still on. Anyway, yeah, that's a recap, a wrap on the Bitcoin. Let's take a look at what's going on in the market since the future opened. I did put a NASDAQ long on. Mini NASDAQ, I'm down a few shekels in that. I'm going to let that run overnight. I'm not really worried about that unless it limits down. That would not be a lot of fun. Gold is up 12 points. P5, what is happening, my friend? How you doing? What did you end up doing on that Bitcoin? Because I don't know if you were watching that ride today. It was pretty nauseating. I almost vomited a few times myself. Again, I mean, I'm up big on my Bitcoin position, but that doesn't. Damn, just miss you talk. Yeah, I'll recap it for you. So, my last big Bitcoin buy was $5,000 on December 20th, and it was at 23,000. So I have roughly 1.5 Bitcoin, and I'm up nice. I'm up nice. I'm not gonna lie, and I've bought in a lot of Ethereum since then. I even recently bought $5,000 of Ethereum in the last 2 days. I'm starting to get a little out of control with the cryptocurrency, but my conviction on blockchain, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, like there is no doubt in my mind that that is going to be a good investment. There's also no doubt in my mind that the volatility is gut-wrenching. It is difficult. Even though I'm up more than 100% in my current Bitcoin position, watching that go from roughly 41,000 all the way down to 35,000 sucks, man. Like it is tough. And I'm still way up in my position, but I'm counting that like every dollar that's like every dollar it goes up, like that's my cost basis now. Anything, you know what I'm saying? So it's tough. But you've got to be able to ride it out, man. You've just got to be able to hodl it. That is what makes being an early adopter to something that is going to change the world, going to change society, going to change the banking system. You've just got to be able to just put that over there and like try not to time it. Just forget about it. Even like me personally, there's going to be a top this cycle. I'm not like, I might take half my position off the table. I'm going to buy more Bitcoin. That's a guaranteed. I'm going to buy at least one more whole Bitcoin in the very near future, most likely. And I may like try and time a top and take that one Bitcoin off, but the rest is staying on. And I may miss out. Like I may time that wrong. This cycle may be completely different. I think Bitcoin is easily going to $1 million by 2030, if not much higher. Anyway, oh my goodness. It might not be over, brother. Like, I don't know what you ended up doing. So last week we made 20 grand with Clean Spark, took that profit and bought another half of Bitcoin. So Friday at the end of the, yeah, man, that sucks, dude. Don't worry about it, man. Forget about it. Like, as long as you don't need that money to pay bills or you're not trying to like, as long as like at the end of the day, if Bitcoin were to go to zero, you might have to wipe a few tears off your cheeks, but you're still going to live. You're going to be fine because Bitcoin, there is no doubt in my mind, Bitcoin is 50,000 very soon, 100,000 easily, I think, by the end of the year. But you like the volatility. I mean, it's hands down the hardest part. I bought, excuse me, I've bought quite a bit of Ethereum in the last week. Even more, I bought 2 more Ethereum today at around 1,300, and that thing dipped down below 1,200. And I was kicking myself. We're going to have to see. Like right now, I'm going to try. Tastyworks is probably going to have their coin exchange on this week. And I do have about $70,000 in my Tastyworks account that I'm looking to put more into Bitcoin. Most likely Bitcoin. Yeah, I think so too. So there's some indications that it could continue to dip, but this had a very nice rebound, found very good support. If Bitcoin were to hit like 32,000, 30,000, I'd probably load the boat. Hell, I might even sell my Tesla to load the boat in Bitcoin, but it would be a gamble because I mean, Bitcoin could, to me, it's not panic mode until Bitcoin gets back down to like 20,000. Then it might be full blown panic mode. But I'm also maybe instead of like, I could buy more this week at current levels. I probably won't. But if Bitcoin were to blast through the all-time highs again and hit like 43,000, I may load the boat on a full Bitcoin at that point because I think 50,000 is going to come fast if it goes to this all-time high again. That being said, we have to see what happens overnight here. We're going to have to see what happens. It may consolidate for a while, go sideways. That would be good. This down movement and some consolidation is actually really good for Bitcoin. Give us some time to chill out. Give us some time for the greed factor to go down. Give us some time for the EMAs to catch up. I'm not big into technical analysis, but I do know, I mean, the more up it goes and the faster that happens, it's definitely going to make some of these downside turns. So I would actually rather see it consolidate here at like 38,000 and chill for a while, versus then immediately going back to the moon in the short term. Anyway, that's my position. I mean, like it would suck if it went down to 30,000, it would be very difficult, but I will probably like load the boat at that point. Anyway, that's kind of where I am at that. I honestly wish everyone the best of luck when it comes to Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin, and I keep going back and forth on which one I think is a better one to buy into. I've bought in a lot of Ethereum lately. I do think Ethereum has the potential to outperform Bitcoin in the short term, but I think the safest, most surest bet on the board is Bitcoin. I don't think you can go wrong by accumulating as much Bitcoin as you can right now and holding on to it. Unfortunately, that is way easier than it sounds because that volatility is so tough. You think it trades different on the weekends, or you think it trades different on the weekends, or Bitcoin is the same? No, it definitely. Bitcoin is nothing like other stocks. Bitcoin is much more easily manipulated by whales. There's a lot of other factors that come into play. There was a tweet, and this is probably what caused Bitcoin to do what it did today. The miners, there was talk, a lot of the miners are taking profits right now to pay for their stuff, and I think that helped. Whales may have jumped in, or institutions may have jumped in to help manipulate that price. I think it's highly likely that it was another manipulation that shake out weak hands because it has rebounded so nicely. We'll have to see, but there's definitely a lot more action. There is always, it seems like, a lot more action in Bitcoin on the weekends. From what I've seen, like almost every big move has been on the weekend recently when it comes to Bitcoin. Let's see if we can take a look at that. So when was the last big move? It was a pretty gut-wrenching one. It was, let's see, on a Sunday, I think, right? January 4th, what was that? Oh, that was a Monday. So it was like a Sunday money just coming out of the weekend. I don't remember if that happened on Monday. Yeah, it looks like it happened on Monday. It was a pretty big chili dipper. Oh, what was this one? This was the big one. This was the other big one. So this was on, yeah, January 4th. So it was a Monday. So it was coming out of a weekend. I'm a minnow. Yeah, boy. You and me both, brother. I'm a minnow fish with dreams of being a whale. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think to be a whale, you have to have 1,000 Bitcoins. I don't have that. I don't have those kind of dreams. I do have dreams that Bitcoin will hit 10 million. That would be nice, right? Definitely right off into the sunset, not worrying about much. Anyway, that's a wrap up. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to wrap this up. I will be back tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for market opening. Just a quick wrap up. I did, as I mentioned Friday, I did hedge my Riot and Mara positions with some covered calls. I didn't in Riot. I did in Mara. I wish I did in Riot. I will probably look at some weekly calls tomorrow in both of these and add to that. Depending on what happens with Bitcoin overnight, I might have to roll down my calls. Mara, though, I probably won't. I might add to it. I'm using Mara and Riot as proxies, and they actually have been doing really well profit-wise for me. I did a covered call on my Tesla, which is a pretty big deal. I would hate to have my Tesla shares called away. And dude, you're going to pay me $1,000 for the 1,500 strike 40 days out, meaning like if my Tesla shares were to get called away from me, I'd be another $60,000 in the profit in a 40-day time span. It would almost be criminal not to take profits at Tesla at that point. I did put a mini NASDAQ long on just because I'm a degenerate. I like being in the game. We're down 10 points right now. I would not be surprised to wake up in the morning and this thing be up 100 points. We do have some big news probably coming tomorrow or Tuesday. The Democrats are looking to impeach Trump as early as Tuesday. A lot of stuff going on with that. We'll have to see what's going on. Biden, I think Biden's expecting to announce a $3 trillion package come like Wednesday. So I'm a little surprised that's not already baked in. Anyway, that's where I am at. I love you guys. I will catch you tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. and peace.